In fact, I wish we could do a 1-for-1 trade and just start shipping off a bunch of these entitled asshole American kids. Send them to fucking China and I'll trade you. I'll trade you for fucking kids who want to come here.
How's everything at home, Lee?
Recorded live from Studio 12A in sunny Phoenix, Arizona. You're listening to the Josh and Friends Podcast.
Thank you for tuning in to the Josh and Friends Podcast. I am your host. My name is Josh. And this week, the show welcomes back Lee Olson. And we'll be discussing a number of different topics, including Lee flirting with the idea of becoming a vegetarian, the Sopranos star who turned to OnlyFans to pay off some huge debts, the new Geriatric Rock Tour featuring some of the industry's worst singers, and we speak about the new disturbing Wendy Williams documentary on Lifetime. So buckle up and help me welcome back to the program. He is the man who's simply known to the rest of the world as Eel Noslow. He is my pal, the one and only, Mr. Lee Olson. Lee, the man. How you doing, man?
Hey, man. I'm fine.
Hey, man. Hey, man.
Hey,
What's going
man.
on?
Not much.
Looking good, looking fit.
Thanks. I don't know, dude. I've been a vegetarian now for 2 months.
Really?
Pescatarian. Yeah.
Wow. So how'd that all come about?
Dumb luck. Jewel bought me an air fryer as a joke for Christmas, and I just started doing a bunch of Brussels sprouts, and then I made it 2 or 3 days without meat, and I was like, well, this is as long as I've ever gone without meat, so let's see how this goes. I'm here to report that vegetables are fucking stupid because I've gained 10 pounds and I feel like garbage. So meat, eat meat, people.
Wait, time out. So wait,
I'm not even sabotaging it. I'm not eating like a bunch of pizza and a bunch of cheese and a bunch of horse shit. I'm eating Brussels sprout. The worst thing I eat is like rice and tuna.
So are you just eating a mass amount of these?
My calories are down probably 30%. The only thing that is really up is carbs because I'm usually pretty low carb when I eat meat. So it is not calories in, calories out. And my power is down at the gym. So I'm lower power, lower strength, gain 10 pounds, look like shit, feel like shit. Vegetables are stupid. Eat animals. We eat animals. They're better for us.
I will say that I've met a lot more vegetarians that are obese than I have people that are just strictly meat eaters that are
Yeah, I think
overweight.
there's merit to that. And you know me, I like to tinker with all that shit. And I just stumbled into it. I was like, well, I made it a few days. Let's see how far this goes. Now I'm 2 months into it. And the worst thing I've eaten, I mean, like, I'm not perfect. Like I had some tortilla chips, like cheese nacho. But like, I'm here to say I did not sabotage it. Like I did not take this and say, hey, I've been a meat eater my whole life. Let's try and make vegetarianism look stupid. I tried it. Like I've been trying to make it work. And it isn't. It's just stripping strength and muscle off of me and adding fat.
Interesting. I mean, tortilla chips are the one thing that it's kind of like it's the one thing I can't give up. But
I'm kind of there. I mean, like it's kind of the only vice. I mean, and mainly we do it because like during games and stuff, we'll make fresh pico. We'll do like an onion and tomatoes and peppers and all that. And
it's a good way to get your veggies in, by the way.
Oh, totally. Yeah, and it's delicious. And so like tortilla chips, I'm not really willing to give them up. But also, I'm not just eating a bunch of horse shit. Like I'm eating pretty damn healthy. And all I noticed is I'm weaker at the gym and I've gained 10 pounds. I feel like shit. I don't know.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Interesting. And so you're not, so what kind of vegetables what are your main vegetables that you've been buying? Are you just mixing it up with every kind of vegetable or what?
Yeah, I mean, I eat salad, like the bag salads. I'll pick those. I know you're not a big fan because there's poop in those, but I do get bag salads. But most of it is like I eat a ton of Brussels sprouts. Like that, the air fryer has been awesome for that. I'll get Brussels sprouts and cauliflower. I'll do broccoli, even though technically I'm allergic to broccoli if it's uncooked, which makes no sense to me. But apparently, if you cook broccoli, it changes something about. So anyway, but like my typical day is I'll wake up, I'll do a smoothie after a workout, which is just banana, protein powder, sometimes creatine, a couple other little things, I don't know, a protein shake, smoothie, whatever. And then like for lunch, I'll have, I don't know, cup of white rice with a can of tuna in it, and I do the cans of tuna with olive oil, which I get. Oh man, there's a tuna that has like chili in it. It's
What?
spicy tuna.
Sounds
Holy
delicious.
Holy shit. I don't even know the brand. I should go find it. It's life changing. You mix it with some rice. Oh my god, it's so good. Anyway,
Dang.
but that's what I'll eat, and then like later in the day, I'll throw in some Brussels sprouts in there, and for dinner, I'm usually just eating salad or more vegetables. Like I'm not really hosing the thing down with a bunch of empty calories.
This has been an interesting experiment.
Yeah. You didn't see this coming from me either. Like Jules said, she has never seen me not go without meat like 3 days, which I think is true. Like the longest I ever went without meat is probably this, like
wow.
3 days. Like, and I've been 2 months legit, probably 8 weeks in now, and I've had fish, so I'm technically not vegetarian. That'd be what, pescatarian or whatever. But
yeah, wow, interesting. Well,
well,
Lee, let's get into some topics here, shall we?
Yeah, sure. Why not?
You know, you and I were talking about how young, hot women have it a lot easier in many ways these days. Like that, remember that story I sent you of the chick from The Sopranos who
pay off my mortgage in 5 minutes.
Yeah, what's her name? Andrea Matteo or something? And she was of The Sopranos fame. She was the hot chick, was the girlfriend of that Christopher guy. And she said that being on OnlyFans saved her house and paid off her mortgage, like you said, in 5 minutes. That is insane.
Yeah.
So I'm not sure how this happened, but she said that she had like $10 to her name. So she kind of did it out of just
desperation or whatever.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. So then she's like, I guess I'll sign up for OnlyFans. People were like, what are you doing? Like, sign up for OnlyFans? Are you joking?
I was really starting OnlyFans to start a podcast on there. That could have been on the more controversial side because we have a lot of crazy things to say. And then it blew up and I was like, okay, I'm going to do this. I'm just going to do it. And I can't believe at my age, I would be like half naked with Carmen Electra. Like, who knew? Why didn't I do this 100 years ago? And why didn't I do it in the middle of the pandemic when everybody else was doing it? I didn't, and I lost everything. Wow. I lost everything over the mandates.
But, I mean, she's a 52-year-old actress.
She's 52, so she didn't cost herself from age 35 to 52. She cost herself from 48 to 52.
Yeah.
So anyway,
basically, she said, anybody that wants to condemn me and put me down, go for it. And I'm like, I'm kind of with her. I'm like, yeah, like, you're the one that's laughing all the way to the bank. Like,
yeah.
So, I mean, if you want to do something like that, if you're like a young, attractive, and it always helps to be a famous young, attractive female.
Or middle-aged attractive.
Yeah,
no, that's the thing is, I don't have any moral objection to this. In fact, if I had a daughter, so I have the luxury of saying this. I don't know if I could actually say it if I had a daughter. But there is almost zero consequence to doing that now. Like, there used to be a social consequence. Like, oh, you're involved in some dirty porno shit. Kim Kardashian's a billionaire now because she made a sex tape. Like, I don't think the social consequence is there. And I think it could be, if a person got involved in that and used it wisely, they could set themselves up for life quickly.
Yeah.
That said, I do think there's sort of an emotional cost. I think there's something that happens when people monetize sex, and I don't think us dudes really understand it because we would do it in a heartbeat, but no one would ever pay us for it. Just because I think we're just built different.
I don't even think she gets like nude. You know what I mean? I think she just shows seductive pictures,
right? Which is great, but
yeah. So she said that she made like $500 per episode on The Sopranos when it first started. And then it went to like a couple thousand, like as the show got bigger, but that's still really nothing.
No, that seems low.
After Friends ended, she did a show. I think it was with Joey. She had like some show that, lasted maybe like a season or two or something, whatever.
Right.
But anyway, I guess she married, Shooter Jennings, Waylon Jennings' son, I guess.
Oh, okay.
And they have a couple kids together.
The only Shooter I know is Shooter McGavin.
Jeez, that's gonna hurt. Just stay out of my way, or you'll pay. Listen to what I say.
Yeah, no. So she has a 16-year-old daughter and a 12-year-old son, and it's like, all right, well, if people want to pay to see me like sitting here like in a bikini. Like, all right, like I don't think you should do anything crazy.
I am all for it. Like I said, with the sort of like, I'm acknowledging that there's probably an untold, like social media in general, like just sharing anything about yourself on social media, I think comes with a consequence. I think when you start using your body and your sexuality, whether it's nude or not nude, I think there's probably an untold consequence that we don't understand yet, especially for women. I'm wary of that.
But don't you think it's different for a 52-year-old to be doing it rather than a 13 or 16-year-old?
Yes, a 52-year-old, go nuts. In fact, revel in it. Like, you should do all the dirty shit and be like, I'm 52, go fuck yourself. Like I'm all for the 50-year-old dude with the beer belly wearing the Speedo and just being like, fuck the world. I'm for people going nuts once they are sort of emotionally secure in life, and I think that happens with age. A little bit, not always, but yeah. But I have concern, but I think it's a stream of income that it will go away soon because AI will take over this shit. You don't need real people anymore.
Right. You could actually type in her name and say, I want to see her face. Yeah. On doing some other thing. All the crazy things I could think of.
And pretty soon that'll be good enough because it's not like people get to touch these people anyway. They just get to look online. The fakes will be good enough. So, I think it's a window in time. Like I said, I have the luxury of saying this because I don't have a daughter, but I might tell a daughter, if I had a daughter in her 20s, do this. Take all the money from the people who want it, and it serves a purpose, man. If people are lonely at home and want to do that, go nuts. Like, spend your money doing whatever the fuck you want to do. And if they want to take that and make financial good decisions with that money, they can set themselves up. I think it's a better choice than college. College is a terrible idea.
Yeah. Well, yeah, there's this girl that was on Stern. She's like this Instagram model. Mm-hmm. And she was on Stern and she was like, yeah, I go to University of Miami or Florida State or one of those schools. And she flies to all these different events all across the world and stuff like that. And she's like just this world famous Instagram star. Yep. And they're like, why are you in college? Because you're making millions of dollars making all these appearances everywhere. And she's like, I mean, I probably won't do anything with the degree I'm going to school for, but that's part of probably the allure of her being on Instagram is like, hey,
she's a regular girl going to college, whatever. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
I don't know.
But yeah, I mean, I don't know. I recognize that on the surface, this seems really easy. Like, just go make a ton of money and do it. And there's no consequence. I do recognize that there's probably a consequence that we don't quite understand yet for sharing all this shit with the whole world online. But
there was another girl I heard on Stern that said that she jars up her farts into a bottle and she sells them for $1,000 a pop.
You know what? Good for her. That is a genius idea. And if anybody wants to pay for that, that is a really unique thing that if you serve that market, you have cornered it.
She also sells her bath water.
What? Hold on.
And guys drink it and gargle with it. I'm not joking. I heard this today. Yeah. I heard this.
Hold on. I shouldn't do that. I'm a libertarian. Go nuts. If you're a consenting adult, go nuts. You want to drink people's bathwater, fucking go nuts. I don't care. Also, though, how do you ship fucking bathwater?
I have no idea, man. I have no idea. But
that feels like it'd be expensive. And
I looked up her net worth, $15 million. And you don't know her. I don't know her. She's just some YouTube chick. $15 million. Yeah.
I mean, sex has always sold. Now it's just a really open
now you
marketplace.
See, the difference is, remember, you had to go through a company and a distributor.
Right.
Now you are your own business. You could be your own empire.
Well, I mean, that's everything. That's owning your own little online store or whatever. Like, you used to have to doing podcasts.
But not in the sex industry. Or whatever the industry that's called.
Well, that's what I'm saying is every industry is becoming this. Every industry except for like manual labor and things where you actually have to build things in the real world. Anything that can be a product sold from a distance, it can go online and you can do it yourself now because the barriers are gone.
It's wild, right?
Yeah.
It's just wild. Wild stuff, man.
I think it's awesome though. I mean, hey, girls, do that if you're emotionally secure enough to do it and you have good financial fucking skills, go make your money.
To always have that option, just like laying there in the background, like if you wanted to, if you wanted to, you have that You have that safety leverage. You can always flip that on. You could always do it.
I think it's diminishing. I think sort of like, you could have made a ton of money in Bitcoin. Now you might make a few bucks. It's too late to make a ton of money. Like, that's going to diminish for, like, camming will go away. Some of this shit is going to go away. So, like, if you want to do it, hurry up and fucking do it, because it's going away.
Okay, well, there's some other things that are not going away, and that is the festival that's just been announced. I think it was last week. Lee, are you excited about the 2024 Outlaw Music Festival?
No, you told me about it. No, I'm not.
Featuring Willie Nelson,
age
and
91.
family. It's Bob Dylan, Willie Nelson, John Mellencamp. Average age of these guys,
I think we tested it.
is over 81 years old.
Yeah.
Over 81, and they're doing a national tour. They're doing a national tour to these guys. I
just realized you have Willie Nelson and John Mellencamp right over your shoulder. Wait,
Yeah,
what's at
like
the bottom?
40
Is that Willie at the bottom too? You got Willie and Mellencamp.
Yeah, it's like 40 years ago.
And they were old then. Look at those, are not teen pictures. Willie Nelson is 63 in that picture behind you.
It's so funny because, like, when we were kids, we're like, oh, look at that old guy with that beard and the bandana. Like, he was the old guy with the beard and the bandana.
He's 41.
And you know what's funny about this concert? Who put this together? Did they put this together? Because, like, these are legit some of the worst singers in the history of music. I mean, great songwriters. Each one of them great songwriters.
Yeah, you're right though.
They're great
Willie
songwriters,
Nelson,
but
terrible singer. John
notoriously bad singers. I mean, Willie Nelson. He's like he talks. He's like
he talks.
Yeah.
You were always on my mind. You were always on my mind.
Legendary artist, not a great singer. Bob Dylan. I mean, shit. Don't get me started. I mean, like Bob Dylan.
He's one of the worst singers.
Yeah, he might be the worst.
He might be.
Seems sick and it's hungry, it's tired and it's torn. It look like it's a dying, it's a hardly been born.
So the one thing you could say about Bob Dylan is he's a fantastic songwriter.
Great songwriter, legendary songwriter.
Yeah.
Great songwriter.
I mean, maybe
great,
one of
great
the
artist, great
best.
songwriter. Just should hand his music off to Jimi Hendrix and let him handle it.
And I saw Mellencamp, I don't know, maybe 15 years ago. He sounded fine, but people have said, like, over the last, I don't know, 10 years, he's really lost his voice.
A little ditty by Jack Diane. Two American kids growing up in the heartland.
What happens when he turns 60?
Yeah, well, I think it's funny because I saw this story about Mellencamp, and he said that he quit drugs and alcohol in 1971, but he's been smoking like a chimney ever since.
That's usually good for your voice.
He started at age 14. He had a heart attack at age 42. I guess he was actually on Letterman when he had a heart attack, and some doctor goes, "Dude, you just had a heart attack," and he's like, you need to stop smoking. And he's like, I ain't ever stopping smoking.
You're looking for another cigarette, I know it.
Yeah.
Can we talk about that?
What cigarettes?
You have a voice to protect, don't you?
He says he doesn't worry so much about cigarettes and his health. He's got a strange theory.
Rightfully or wrongfully, I believe that it's the combination of cigarettes and alcohol that get people. The two of them combined. I'm 65 years old. I can see the finish line from here. I only have so many summers left, and I intend not to waste them being old.
Yeah, he smokes a pack a day. And so I mean, listen, Lee, are you gonna be going to the Gorge in August? They're gonna be coming there, that festival. They're gonna be there. Lee, I gotta say, the only thing that kind of is alluring me about going to see them in concert. They're not coming here yet. They're not, but they haven't announced it.
There's a fair chance that you'll witness one of them die on stage.
That's exactly what I was saying, and I'm not even joking. Like, Lee, if they come here and they're in one of the outdoor venues in like August. I've seen so many artists now, like that I've seen at this one pavilion, and it's like the Talking Stick Pavilion, right?
Mm-hmm.
And they're like, and they have just giant misters blown on these guys. But I mean, a lot of these people, like, who was the lead singer of Garbage, that Shirley Manson or whatever her name is, Shirley something. Mm-hmm. Anyway, she was like, oh my God, it's hot. Oh God. She's like, I'm from like Ireland or whatever the fuck she is.
Right.
Like, she's like, I'm not used to this shit. So like, imagine like an old man out there, like an old man. Like,
I don't know. They're
Bob
usually
Dylan's
cold
like
though, aren't
90.
they? They're usually cold though, aren't they? It's like they usually move to like Phoenix and places when they're old. So maybe the gorge is perfect. Maybe they'll have good circulation.
About that. Yeah, their blood isn't moving as fast. And
yeah, you need to see them when they play in like Minnesota or somewhere.
You're right. Damn it. Yeah, I don't know. But
maybe we should look up the tour and see where they booked them. Maybe this is genius. Maybe it's Phoenix, Las Vegas, the gorge in summer. Like they're just going down to Florida. They finish in Florida somewhere. And
maybe you're right. I never thought about that. But yeah, that was my theory. Maybe I was thinking about buying one of these passes where you basically this is crazy. So you pay like $200 for like this pass for like a concert venue.
Okay.
And you get to see every concert that goes through there. It's amazing because like if you see 3 concerts, it's already paid for. Like with today's prices, it's pretty wild.
At like Talking Stick?
Yeah, not the one that casino. It's like it's an amphitheater. It's kind of like the white trash version of. Well, no, I guess it's kind of like
White River Amphitheater.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. So exactly like that. So basically
the white trash version of the gorge.
Right, except hotter.
Yeah.
So yeah.
So look up I guess are you allowed to look up the lineup first to see if there are 3 shows that you want to go to?
No, I've already seen it. It's and they keep adding to it. So like during the year they just keep adding shows, right?
Right.
So,
well, I mean, so that makes sense if you have 3 shows that you want to go to.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, listen, if you go to like 5 shows, like you've gotten way your money's worth, right? And they also have these like cups that you can take in, these like the big like concert cups, and you could get like just like that, and you could get free refills on the drinks there. So
nice.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, that makes sense as long as you want to see the product. I mean, I bought a 20 game pack for the Mariners, and I don't know if I want to see the Mariners play, but we said we were going to do it when we moved back. Here we are.
There you go. Wait, did you see that video of Cam Newton getting?
I didn't. I read something. He got in a fight somewhere, but I didn't see the video.
So it's wild, dude. Like, so first off, when I first saw this video, you see Cam Newton and you see these guys like jump him. There's like 3 dudes or something like that jumped him.
It wasn't at like some camp or something like some.
Yeah, it was like a 7-on-7 like football tournament or something like that. And they're walking up the stairs, and you see these guys like they jump him, and I'm like, it's funny. You don't realize how big and powerful a dude is. I mean, that guy was a
professional
monster.
NFL football player.
Yeah, and that guy was a freak of nature. I mean, that's like a Shaq, kind of.
He's
like,
a big dude. Yeah,
that kind of build. You know what I mean? Like that giant, square, pure muscle. Yeah. So this guy, it's hilariously, he's wearing like a wizard hat or something weird, like he fucking wears.
He is a weirdo.
Yeah. He is a weird dude, right? But he's fighting these guys up, and he's like just whipping them off, and his hat never even moves. It doesn't fall off or anything. It just shows you just the sheer power of this guy, right?
It is amazing. Like, we watch TV and we see these people and we think that we understand their sort of proportions because they're out there next to other people who are like them.
Yeah.
And when we walk around in the world, we are proportioned similar to the people that we are walking around. People forget that Michael Jordan is 6'6".
Yeah.
Were you tiny?
I think you were with me one time when we were at one of the pool halls in Seattle, and we saw Gary Payton playing pool.
Right. Yeah.
In the next
he always looked tiny.
Holy Jesus.
Yeah, he always looked tiny on the court. He's like 6'4" or 6'5" or something, and like he's a big dude.
I'm like, what the hell, dude?
Yeah.
He's a huge dude. But he looks like the little guy out there. Yeah.
Yeah, don't do that unless you know how to fight.
It's just okay, so here's the backstory on that. Right? So it was hilarious when I first saw it because I was like, all right, this is kind of funny. Like who in their right mind would do that, right?
Yeah.
But word has it that Cam Newton was the one that was trash talking these guys. Shocking, I know. Shocking.
Yes, Little boy? Little boy? Are you... What they say in New York? Is you dumb?
I guess these guys were a couple of coaches that he actually knew him.
Okay.
And so he was like sitting there, boasting about his money and saying things like, I taught you everything you know. I made y'all and I'm your daddy and blah, blah.
He's being a dick. Yeah.
Yeah, he's just being whatever. He's just being a dickhead. And so he's trash talking, and it continued, and Newton grabbed one of the guys by the jacket and started trying to choke him, I guess. So one of the coaches then punched Newton, and then it all went downhill from there, and that's when everybody got the footage, right? So, but when it was funny because, like you said, dude is a monster. He's like 6'6", 250 pounds, and that ain't like fat.
No, that dude
he is a block of muscle.
Yeah.
And he's been on the league for a couple of years now, but Jesus, man, that don't go away, No. So it's, I don't know. I just thought it was kind of funny to
well, dude, and people always forget, like, we're just so accustomed to seeing elite athletes and elite people on TV, right? And it's super easy for us to say, oh, that guy sucks. Like we always talk about Jamal Adams. He's fucking terrible. He's terrible. Well, think every person who ever played college sports was the best athlete in your high school.
Yeah.
Probably the best athlete in your town. Every single college athlete or minor league athlete that made it to a major league is the best in their college, probably in their state at the college level.
Right.
And then the ones who are really good at the NFL or the Major League Baseball level or whatever, they are the top 1% of the 1% of the 1%.
Right.
And it's easy for us to say, Jamal Adams sucks. He is still the best athlete you will ever shake hands with if you shake hands with him.
Exactly. And you watch these guys, like you mentioned, they're all with each other on the field.
Yeah.
And when he was playing, he was whipping
big
defensive tackles off of his, and he's scrambling around pushing people.
In a world of giant people, he was big. Yeah.
He was a monster on the field with all these crazy athletes. So yeah, you're a regular person. I don't care if he's talking trash, you go, yes, yes. Okay. Yep.
I mean, I don't know. Like, I'm down. If he was being a dick, like, I don't think I'd back down to him.
I wouldn't take a swing at him.
That's the thing, is I don't know if I would fight somebody who I think could put me in a fucking trash can. I mean, I didn't fight the unnamed Mariner player who threatened to rip my arms off, because he would have. Yeah. I'm not a small dude. I probably could have fought him and maybe survived.
Rhymes with
maybe not. Shut up. No, okay. It's only been 25 years. It's not enough time.
You're still afraid.
We need to wait until he ends up on Josh's Facebook page as an obituary. Then he can say his name.
All right.
I don't want him searching me. I don't want him finding me.
Fair enough. Well, that leads me into the kind of the next topic here. I'm pretty sure I know the answer to the next question, but I'll just ask anyway. Lee, did you by any chance see the Wendy Williams documentary?
No.
That aired on.
I think you were telling me about that.
Dude, it was listen, first off, I don't even know I clicked on it. No idea. I think I saw it was like, when you go through channels and you see like something that is like going on for several hours and you're like, what the fuck is it? What is this?
Right.
So I just clicked on it to see what it was. And I don't care about Wendy Williams. I never cared about Wendy Williams. Else she just a gossip queen or whatever.
I was confused why she was famous, but other than that, I don't.
So basically, she was a famous New York radio person.
Oh, okay, I didn't know how she got famous. I just knew she had her TV show that sucked.
Yeah. So and she used to like just gossip about whatever, and that's how she got big. She's kind of like the black female Howard Stern kind of shock jock kind of deal, right?
All right.
She was like on one of the the urban stations, and she was a big deal, right? And then that's why she kind of like transitioned into having a talk show, which lasted way longer than I thought it was on. Anyways, so I flipped it on, and at first I was like, oh, okay, it's just like a kind of a cool doc about her history and blah blah, and that's how I was able to even talk about what I just did.
She was in her living room every single day for 12 years.
Yep, I guess that'll do. And that's what people responded to, her authenticity. And then at the peak of her career, she was gone.
And then, dude, it started getting really bad pretty fast. And I was like, what is going on with this documentary here.
Like the documentary got bad, or the situation in the documentary got bad? Because like there are bad documentaries, like the Green River Killer documentary, where they put a
no. It wasn't poorly done. Many are saying that it was in bad taste. But
was it kind of a expose hit job sort of thing?
No. It didn't start out that way. So the first hour you watch is kind of like a straight up kind of documentary. It's like, hey, this is the history of, and this is how she got big. And we're like, oh, this is pretty good, right? And then they start kind of like following her around, like with, cameras and everything, which is okay. I guess it's kind of interesting. She's sitting on her couch and talking to people and whatever. But then you realize there's something really wrong. There's something really, really wrong here. She, like, her eyes are popping out of her head. Like she's not okay. You could tell, because she was a real quick, fast, like, wit, right? And she knew a lot about a lot of stuff, and she was very, very quick, right? And I'm like, she's not looking too well in these videos, right? So after a certain point, I was like, I think I recognize what's going on here. And they confirmed later that she has aphasia and frontotemporal dementia, like Bruce Willis.
Right.
And her son believes that her early onset dementia was due to heavy alcohol use. And then she has this assistant. I didn't watch the whole thing. It was kind of hard to, I was like, I feel weird watching. I feel like I'm not supposed to be watching this. And that's part of the problem, right? Because they just kept going.
Yep.
I don't know if it like it happened that fast where like she really started
where they weren't
going down
planning to film that, and then they were just like, fuck, I guess we keep this rolling.
Yeah. So they're like, what do we do? Because like they had this her assistant, I guess there's like some lawsuit because like she was worth millions of dollars, and now she's like worth practically nothing. So and then I saw on the news, everyone's like fucking like going off on this thing. They're like, hey, this is in very bad taste and all this. And I was like, I don't know, just made me feel kind of.
It is weird because we have to figure that out as a society, because we're all open to this now.
Yeah,
like cameras everywhere. Like you can expose some things, and like, where do you draw the line? Do you draw the line at, I don't know, drug abuse by a rock star when you're doing a documentary? Like, I don't know, but like I think it's one of those things where like we just kind of know it when we see it, and when it feels exploitive, and a person. I described at one point to a friend of mine, like what my definition of honor is, or at least part of the definition is that a person wouldn't take advantage of another person for their own gain if they knew that other person was vulnerable.
Yeah.
I think that's what that sounds like to me, is like, you can show unpleasant shit. You can show alcoholism, and you can show mental illness and aphasia and all those things, but you have to do it in a way that doesn't feel exploitive and use somebody's vulnerability for your own gain. And that sounds like
also,
what they did.
Part of the first part of that documentary was like she was always very self-conscious about her looks, and like,
her
she was a
image
big chick, she's a big lady, and she got big breast implants to like, kind of like probably to offset her, big giant, body, and she's very self-conscious about a lot of that was her looks, and this does not help. She looks terrifying.
Well,
right?
it just when you start dealing with, I don't know, dementia, I think you turn the cameras off. Unless it's a documentary about dementia where you're going to be sort of compassionate about that. I think you're that is almost by definition a stop sign.
Yes, because
that person is can no longer consent to doing.
That's like
you're not showing them. It's not.
The wife of Bruce Willis is kind of handling it correctly. She's like, hey, look, he's doing okay, but he's definitely not Bruce Willis anymore. He's like, they'll take a picture of him, like, like next to him or something like that. But that's it. It's not like video of like him acting like a fool,
Right. No, I think that's the right way to do it, because it isn't fair. It's not fair to the person who's dealing with that, or the family, or whoever is going to be around to say, hey, this is their legacy and whatever, because we have, when people get their heads cut off by ISIS, that's what people are going to remember.
Yeah.
And that sucks for the family. Like, if you have an entire lifetime of memories of this person and a whole bunch of other stuff, and then somebody exploits the most vulnerable moments of their lives, that shouldn't be what people remember.
They kept showing over and over her saying, yeah, I'm going to be back on TV. I'm getting my show back. And I'm like, don't put this on film. Like,
Yeah,
she
that
kept
just
saying
sounds,
it over
that
and
sounds
over.
bad. I mean, I guess we need those documentaries or those things to sort of remind us what the line is.
I guess. Yeah.
But,
I don't know.
if they're getting backlash, good, because then that's sort of when people say, "Hey, no, this isn't good." Like, and then other people look and go, "All right, yeah, we can't do that."
Yeah.
But yeah, it does sound sad. Like, I don't want anybody to be exploited. Like, I'm all for showing assholes when they're assholes. I'm all for showing people who are making poor decisions if they're making poor decisions. I draw the line at people who are incapable of making good decisions.
Well, it's like that Drea de Matteo chick from The Sopranos. Like, look, she's 52. She's able to make her own decisions right now.
She's a consenting adult. She is not diminished. She's not impaired. Go nuts. And if you want to judge her, judge her. Like, that's a fair exploitation. If you decide to make that documentary and show her doing that, that's fair.
Yeah.
If she got hit in the head with a brick and she doesn't remember her own name and she decides to do OnlyFans, now that's different.
Right. Yeah, we have this lady. She doesn't really know where she is, but you want to see her naked?
She has decent boobs. Yeah.
So terrible. All right, so Lee, let's move on from that fun topic here. So speaking of things that are making a comeback, are you a big fan of reboots and remakes in movie and television?
Not at all. Nope, not at all. Nope, they're never good. I won't say ever good, but they're really, really rare.
I'm with you, because the reason I bring this up is the remaking, and not that it was the greatest movie ever, but they're bringing back Don't Tell Mom the Babysitter's Dead.
Why would you even do that?
I don't I have no idea. But do you here's one fascinating thing that I saw, because I guess, it's probably because they're making the rounds, because the old cast is making the rounds because the show is back. But you remember the kid in that?
Dishes are done, man.
Yeah.
So he was wearing a wig in that movie, and I didn't know. You never know, because wigs are pretty good in Hollywood. But when he came back later in the movie, when they cleaned him up, so he can help out, the situation, that was his real hair when he had the short hair. so it's kind of like a reverse situation.
You remember way more about the original Don't Tell Mom the Babysitter's Dead than I did.
I saw it in the theater, Lee. It was a sneak preview. I got it from a radio station or something like that. But anyway, so I noticed that here's the point I want to make is the reboot. The reboot of this movie is coming back, but they're using all African American cast. It's an all black, and they've done this a lot. It's not a new thing.
Didn't they just do that with Mr. and Mrs. Smith? And
I think so.
Yeah, I see that on Netflix.
And I'm like, I could care, like I said, I could care less, because I'm not really I'm not going to see any of these movies anyways. So yeah. I could give a crap. But it is interesting. Why do you think they reboot these movies with? Is it just to reach a new audience? They think they're going to get the old audience and the new audience, or is it? I don't.
Well, I think
it's for the name. Obviously, it's for the name.
I think they're lazy, but also it's exploiting sort of a change in our culture, which is, oh, hey, if we redo this thing and sort of use different people, A, we're going to attract a different audience, but B, we're going to attract the people who think that this needed somehow correcting, that somehow the first Don't Tell Mom the Babysitter's Dead was a transgression. So you're going to get that group of people. I'm neither of those groups. I think I watched the first one. I'm definitely not watching the second one, but not because of the race of people who's in there, which, by the way, is a horseshit way to go about doing anything. Is we're just going to do this thing, but we're going to change race. Shut up.
They did that. Remember they did that with the Wonder Years a couple of years ago. They rebooted the Wonder Years with
do a show. Just do a good show with good content with good actors.
Exactly.
Nobody gives a fuck about race except dumb people.
Right.
Nobody cares except dumb people. So fucking cut it out. Unfortunately, our country is full of dumb people, so I guess a ton of people care about race.
Yeah.
But nobody who gives a shit, nobody who understands the world gives a fuck about race, aside from the damage it does, which racism is a damage to whatever. It can be damaging, but
they did that with the Karate Kid as well. I heard that was not a bad movie, but
they did it okay, because that was just sort of an evolution. Like, hey, here's a new kid, whatever. It wasn't a blatant like, hey, we're going to redo this with an all black cast now because that's what we wanted. It's like, no, that was an evolution. Hey, here's a different person, a different kid, and whatever. And I think that was Will Smith's kid, wasn't it?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
So whatever. Yeah. Like, I don't mind. Like, I don't give a shit.
If you're actually going to create a story, like a different kind of story, instead of just being lazy and rebooting the same
and I mean,
movie.
they did that. I think one of the other Karate Kids was with a girl. Like,
right. Yeah, like the next Karate Kid or whatever.
Yeah, like, to me, those were very organic. Like, do it with different people. Cool. But
they did the
just redo.
Did you see the Willy Wonka, the new Willy Wonka with what's his name?
Johnny Depp.
Yeah, Johnny Depp. Did you see that?
No.
The Willy Wonka remake.
No.
Okay. I saw a little bit of it. I was like, I don't care. What am I doing? What am I even watching this? I just don't care.
I mean, that's the thing is the remakes just aren't gonna. I think we're ignoring something in sort of popular culture or movies especially, which is the things that make movies special are the things that make them unique. Like, if you just repeat that thing, it's going to stop being unique and people aren't going to give a shit. I guess the sort of outlier to that is superhero movies, because people seem to keep eating that shit up.
Yeah, they make billions of dollars.
But mostly people don't want to see the same thing that came out before because they can already fucking see it. And Goonies is not going to be exciting to a kid today because it's not their era. They won't identify with it.
Right.
So you don't need to remake Goonies.
So,
you
like,
can just
why
make
are
a movie.
They're like, okay, they're down in this thing. Why don't they just turn on their cell phone? Like, what?
Exactly.
Right. It doesn't make sense.
And just write a movie for this era. It's fine. You can do that.
And maybe that's what they're. I don't know. Maybe that's what they're doing with some of these
and
movies.
Lots of movies
where they just
are remakes. Just don't fucking call it that. Don't call the second Point Break. It's not Point Break. It's fucking some dipshit heist movie. Don't call it Point Break. It's different. You just alienate people. You're not winning.
All right. Yeah. Okay.
That's a sore spot. Point Break is a sore spot for me.
It apparently is. All right. So, Lee, I know that you've been very vocal over the years about not ever wanting to have kids. Like, sure. Which is no secret. Now, what are your biggest reasons for this? Because this isn't like a new thing. It's like this was decades ago. Like when I first met you, you're like, why? Like, I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, for me, there's I'm too selfish, and I don't mean that in a bad way. I think I'm a pretty selfless person in a lot of areas of my life, but I don't want to be responsible for that. I mean, I built a life that has almost no responsibility that is important. I have no kids, no pets. I'm not married, even though she and I have been together for 16 years. Like, I have a life that is built around the things that I hope to enjoy. And also, I just don't see a reward in having kids. I'm sure there is one that I can't see without having kids. I'm positive you get some joy from it or whatever. And truth be told, in a certain window of my life, if it had happened, all right. Like, I don't know if I was 31 and I was in a relationship and it turned out to have, like, if that's where we were at, maybe I make a different decision. I wasn't adamant or violently opposed to having kids. It just never seemed like the right move for me. And here I am approaching 50, still the right move. I made the right move. Like, I would have spent, I'm barely to the point where I have finances to do some things that I would want to do. If I had a kid, fucking forget it. Aside from all the tax breaks you get.
Yeah.
And I don't know, if I had a daughter that went into OnlyFans, maybe I'd get a bunch of money from her. I don't know.
Oh, you think she'd be sharing that money with you?
Maybe. I don't know. Probably not. Kids don't really share with their parents.
Nah, not these
until
days.
they're my age, and then they do.
But you did bring up a good point right there. So the part of having kids that popped up when I was going through this, I saw that this story came up, and just piggybacking off the money pit problems that kids can cause. I never realized, Lee. I never realized how much shit costs at Disneyworld.
Oh my God. Yeah.
So, and first off, did you realize how many parks there were at Disney World in Florida?
I guess I still don't realize how many parks there are at Disney World.
And by the way, each one of these parks has a separate entrance fee. Like, you pay to get, so there's Magic Kingdom Park, which costs between $124 and $189 per person. Epcot tickets cost between $114 and $179. Disney's Hollywood Studios over $100. Disney's Animal Kingdom theme park from $109. And then there's, I guess, the water parks, Blizzard Beach and Typhoon Lagoon are $74. The reason I bring that up is because there was a story showing that next year, the prices are going to be bumping up another $10 each for all of this. So this doesn't even include parking, which is $30 a day, and all the food, which is outrageous.
Yeah.
Can you imagine, like, if you went there with your family? And by the way, that's a lot of peer pressure within the community with the kids going to school and stuff like that. And like all the other kids are like, oh, like I just went to Disney World with, my family for like a week and a half or whatever, like then your kids are going to want to go to Disney World or whatever. But like that, can you imagine how much money that you'd be spending?
Yeah. I mean, I can imagine it. And no, I would rather spend that on me. That's why I'm not a parent. I'd rather spend that at the draft buying fucking drinks and shit for people.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know. There are a million things I'd rather spend it on than a fucking kid. And again, maybe there's
memories,
some joy in providing for kids. I don't know. Maybe there is, but that's a lot of money.
You get to see a little Lee running around. You get that little Lee gets to hug you. Gets to
again. Maybe there's some benefit that I'm not seeing. I'll acknowledge that because I can't see it. I don't have it.
Yeah.
Right. But I don't look at my life and say, oh my God, I made a huge error. I haven't had a kid. I look at my life and go, nah, I got that one pretty close to right.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's like theme parks and shit. Good God. I mean, anything like eating. My sister and I talk about the fact that I have no idea how my mom kept food in front of us. We were both athletes. Holy fucking shit. I would eat a whole box of cereal in a sitting.
Yeah.
I used to take an entire loaf of bread, strip the fucking edges off, use a rolling pin and roll half of it into one, half in the other, put a package of meat in the middle and eat, I don't know, what is that, a 9,000 calorie sandwich?
She just should have bought tortillas for you.
Well, I would have been better, yeah. But I mean, the keeping food in front of us.
Yeah.
I can't imagine doing that because I like food in front of me right now is expensive, and I don't eat anywhere near as much as I did when I was a kid.
Right.
So I don't know. I just whatever people want to go. Again, if you want to raise kids, go nuts. I hope you raise them to be good workers because they're going to need to be. But
so
most of you aren't. Most of you aren't. Most of you parents are fucking up. Most of you parents are fucking this up. You're fucking it up. Stop taking them to Disney World and start teaching them to fucking dig.
That won't happen.
Get them to work.
What do you think this is? 1975? What is this? What kind of dream
we're
world are
a
you
generation and a half into the call 911 sort of program. So no, they aren't going to do anything. And Americans are too fat and lazy and happy. They're not going to move.
Yeah, we need Mexicans to do that, right? Like the ones that are trying to cross over the border.
Yeah, I know. Dude, that's something that Jewel mentioned that the other day. I didn't know. The number one ethnic group that is crossing the southern border right now is Chinese.
Migrants from China are now the fastest growing group of people entering the United States illegally from Mexico.
China?
Why are we seeing these growing numbers? Here's what we know.
New York?
Customs and Border Protection reported more than 24,000 Chinese migrant encounters at the southern border last fiscal year. In 2021, that number was just 450. Some fly to Ecuador, where no visa is needed, and then travel north.
Salvador, Panama.
Others are flying into Tijuana Airport before being guided across the border by smugglers.
Because the Chinese economy is quietly failing quickly, and so they're all coming here.
Interesting stat. Wow.
But yeah, I'll take all of them. I want all, aside from, obvious criminals.
The murderers and rapists.
Yeah. But I'll take all of them because if you're willing to put effort into getting here just so you might get a job, you're hired.
Yeah, that right hired. There, that just shows you the determination that they have to do anything.
Yeah, I'm willing to leave my entire life, travel thousands of miles, maybe die in that process, just so I can get here, not so you can give me something so that I can go get it. You can give me a job and I'll make it on my own. Holy shit. That's what we need more of. In fact, I wish we could do a 1-for-1 trade and just start shipping off a bunch of these entitled asshole American kids. Send them to fucking China and I'll trade you. I'll trade you for fucking kids who want to come here.
How's everything at home, Lee? Everything...
I mean, you know, maybe I need a vacation from work. I don't know.
Holy shit, Lee drank half the bottle of tequila over here. Holy shit.
Yeah, what the fuck is going on? No, that's actually just pent up. Like we are now, 4 or 5 years into not being able to hire people for construction.
Yeah.
And the minimum wages are going up. I mean, like, fuck, the city of Renton here just passed a minimum wage that sets it basically at $20 an hour for like the smallest businesses, and I think it's like $28 an hour for like businesses more than 500 employees or something. Like,
really?
Don't quote me on that, but it's massively expensive, and it makes it so you can't run a business.
That's insane.
And it tells the people, it tells the workers, your performance is irrelevant. If you just sit long enough, you're going to get paid more. And then that turns them into shitty employees, and then those shitty employees become shitty managers, and then work sucks and nothing gets done, and then the government says, yeah, but you got to pay them anyway.
Right.
And then everything costs a ton more, and everything sucks, which kind of feels like where we're at, right? Like everything costs a ton, and service sucks, and quality sucks.
Every time I go out to fast food, which is not very often, but when I do, I am like in complete and utter shock of how much stuff is. I was like, what is this?
Dude, I think
this is wild.
Same with you. Like, I don't really go to fast food, but I think we went, it might've been New Year's Eve, when we came back from, we went downtown for the symphony and decided to come back afterwards and just watch the fireworks on TV. And I think we stopped at Jack in the Box, and we got just like a regular, 2 regular Jack in the Box meals. And it was like $27 for just, and I was like, it's $15 for a fucking Jack in the Box meal now.
Yeah. 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 Like, this is the same place that we used to go to every weekend after drinking in Ellensburg for
Right. Well, and prices go up. I get it. But you would think as prices go up, quality would sort of stay the same or improve, generally speaking. But we're not there. We are at automated windows, and like nobody shows up to work, and fucking doors are flying off Boeing airplanes, and like shit's falling apart, man. And yet it costs more to do it. And the workers who are doing this shitty work are requiring more money to go do that work.
Yeah.
And I don't know how you correct that if the government keeps stepping in and saying, yeah, you got to pay them more. Doesn't matter. It's like,
yeah.
Okay.
Well, Lee, speaking of things falling apart, Richard Lewis died last week.
Yeah, I heard that.
He had a successful and lifelong career in comedy, but it was acting as a fictionalized version of himself on HBO's Curb Your Enthusiasm that will perhaps go down as Richard Lewis's signature role.
They moved the audition. It's like in 10 minutes, and I was on the phone with an ex-girlfriend who was suicidal, so I couldn't exactly hang up to say, I want to go to a salad bar.
Wait, she's going to commit suicide? She calls you?
Lewis was born in Brooklyn, raised in New Jersey. After graduating from The Ohio State University, he worked the New York City comedy scene of the 70s. That's where he became a favorite of Tonight Show host Johnny Carson.
Would you welcome Richard Lewis?
Uncle Ray was there, had a serious drinking problem, very depressed guy. I once followed him to his bedroom. I had to walk him to his bed one night, and he used to sleep like this. It was sad. He used to go, oh, I'm a failure, I'm a loser, I'm nowhere, I don't know what I'm doing.
Dressed head to toe in all black, it became his trademark persona.
But hey, I love her. I love you, Mom. She's recuperating. She had some major open guilt surgery a couple of weeks ago.
And with a comedy style that focused on neurotic and self-deprecating topics, he took to the attention of another young comedian at the time, with a similar sense of humor, and from the same neck of the woods in Larry David.
Yeah, laugh it up. All right, listen, I have an audition now, so if you don't mind.
I'll see you later.
That's very funny.
Even though they first met at the age of 12 in summer camp, the two would form a friendship that would last forever, including, in 2000, Larry casting him as a series regular on his hit HBO series Curb Your Enthusiasm.
My wardrobe. Yeah, put this wardrobe
look
down.
At you.
I'm one of the best dressed comics that ever lived.
You're the worst dressed person I've ever seen.
You're comparing
I can't even look at you. I get depressed.
Richard had tackled films like Once Upon a Crime.
Don't shoot, I'm an actor.
How did you get in?
Through the gate.
It was open?
It's always open.
Then you've been here before.
Or Robin Hood Men in Tights.
Those aren't my bubbles. From the pipes.
And starred in his own sitcom opposite Jamie Lee Curtis in Anything But Love.
I will give you the world's greatest back rub.
I remember the last time you gave me a back rub.
and everything got rubbed but my back.
But it was his role in Curb Your Enthusiasm that added to his legacy of one of the world's greatest comics.
What else you got in a Bentley? You got a Bentley.
What else you got in the trunk?
I got nothing in there. Some golf clubs, that's all.
Richard died of a heart attack Tuesday after a battle with Parkinson's disease. He was 76.
I always liked Richard Lewis. I thought he was a pretty good comic. I enjoyed him on Curb. Have you watched all the Curb episodes?
I think I've watched all, like maybe a couple of the final seasons, because they took like 6 or 7 years off, and then they did a few more seasons.
Right. Which is great, by the way. Instead of like stopping the show, he's just like, I'm just gonna wait until I get more material. Because like that's the important like factor when it comes to like people like Larry David or Seinfeld. It's like it's more important to have the legacy and the quality of the show be great than just to keep going, and then it just keeps.
Well, and they just have so much money they don't need. But even when Seinfeld didn't, I mean, I guess they all made all their money then anyway. But like they were willing to quit because they didn't want to put out a bunch of shit.
Yeah. Well, and Larry David had left Seinfeld a couple of years before that show, and I've heard Jerry go, it was hard to like keep going without, because what's his name was like
he was a genius. Yeah, he was the genius behind it. I mean, obviously he and Jerry, but he was. Yeah. Yep.
So I mean, they had a team of writers and everything like that, but it's like he goes, it made it a lot harder to do that show.
Yep.
But so yeah, Richard Lewis. So Larry David, he paid his respects to Richard Lewis last week with this, and I'm just gonna read this. Okay. This is a little write-up that Larry David said right after Richard died. He said, Richard and I were born 3 days apart in the same hospital. And for most of my life, he had been like a brother to me. He had a rare combination of being the funniest person and also the sweetest. But today, he made me sob. And for that, I'll never forgive him.
I love it. I fucking love it. I love Larry.
It's so great, right? Like, don't you think that like Richard Lewis would be like, perfect?
Yeah, that's of course. Yeah, you're like, well, there you go. Yeah,
yeah. So I just thought that was fantastic, and I mean, it's lately. I think we talked about this previously, but it's the deaths that are getting to me are the deaths of these close friends that of. Like Larry David and Richard Lewis, they've been on that show forever, like since like 24 years or something like that. That show's been on. Yeah. And like people like Howard Stern and Ralph Cirillo. I don't know. It's kind of like
you kind of watch the family grow up. I mean, like those guys are family to each other.
Because it's almost to me more than family, because family, you don't have a choice in your family's your family.
That's
right?
true. Yeah.
So like, I love my brother. My brother's awesome. Like I'm a huge fan of Andy. I'm a massive fan of Andy.
I mean, who wouldn't be?
Right. Yeah. But like Andy, like I was, he was born into the same family as me. Like I grew up with him.
You're right. You don't have a choice. You do have a choice with the people that you hang out with after. Yes. Yep.
So yeah, that's why it always kind of gets me. But yeah. So yeah. So I just kind of had those kind of thoughts there.
Yeah, I think that's a perfect sort of obituary that he wrote, or not an obituary, but like sort of a tribute. Yeah. And man, I hope you guys are fucking similarly assholes. I hope that I'm alive long after you assholes are dead. But if I happen to die before you, I hope that everybody cracks jokes and makes fun, because that's what it should be. And it sounds like those dudes were friends enough to know that he could write that, and that'd be the most fitting tribute.
Lee,
so I think it's rad.
The only reason that I want to live longer than you is because if I died before you, there would be either no party or a really shitty party. You are not the great party guy. I am the guy that always put the parties together, got the people together, got all the football games together.
That's true. If you're not here when I die, I don't know who shows up.
It's like,
and not because I think there are people who like me, they just would never know about it. So it would have to go on your Facebook obituary wall, and people are like, oh no.
Right. Holy crap.
And then Jen would have to step in with a pet.
Half the people that follow me are people that just want to see obituaries. I mean, rightfully so.
I mean, you have to have an alert on your phone for people dying, right?
Well, I have people that send me leads now, right? So I have several people that send me leads, which
You've
is
got
kind
a staff,
of also
a staff of people scouring the
also
the
kind of
headlines.
disturbing because I have all these people that randomly send me death texts.
Yeah.
They're like, oh, and I'm like, some of them are like, hey man, did you hear about this? And I'm like, oh yeah, I posted that an hour ago. They're like,
That's usually how it is. Like Richard Lewis, I was like, oh man, this one's bad. I went to Facebook and you had posted it like an hour before. I was like, shit, okay. I still maintain I think you're killing some of these people. Not all of them. They're like, I think this is a ruse that you just post all of them and then you're like, man, I think it's time to kill this wrestler.
well, if that was the case, there'd be a lot more people that would be dying. I'm just saying. Just saying. Don't come after me, people. If someone big dies, it's not me. It's not me.
Wow, the perfect alibi.
Hey, it's time-stamped on this video right here. So what do you think about that?
Hey, if Hacksaw Jim Duggan dies tomorrow, it wasn't me. I promise. I don't even know where that guy lives. I've never even been to Palm Springs. I don't know anything about Hacksaw Jim Duggan.
If the glove don't fit,
you must have quit.
You must have quit.
Yeah.
All right.
It's really going to be creepy when Hacksaw Jim Duggan dies tomorrow.
Lee, I swear to God, if Hacksaw Jim Duggan dies, and if who's another one that needs? I mean that could die. That could die. If Hulk Hogan passes away, the blame's on. Wait, is the blame on me or you? Because you didn't say Hulk Hogan.
Well, fuck. If Hulk Hogan dies, it's on you. If Hacksaw Jim Duggan dies, somebody's coming to look for me because that's a pretty obscure one.
That is true. How's the Ricky the Steamboat? Is he still
around?
I think so.
I don't know if he is or isn't. Truth be told, I'm not sure Hacksaw Jim Duggan is still alive.
That's true. Yeah. All right. Well, if he's already dead, then good for you.
Then, yeah. I didn't kill him.
Okay.
All right.
Anything else you'd like to add, buddy?
Nope.
Any other deaths you want to throw out there?
No. I think this is good. I think we're on the hook for a couple already. Let's see.
Dick Van Dyke's getting up there, but no Dick Van Dyke.
I mean, you just keep throwing him out there. You're gonna draw some attention here, especially if like a car wreck happens between Hulk Hogan and Dick Van Dyke.
All right, we're gonna leave it there, buddy. Okay. Right. Okay, everybody. For Lee Olson, I'm Josh, and as always, thank you for being a friend.
Oh.